Keeping mobile devices secure is super important. Think about the kind of data that a mobile device can have: email, personal files, photos, health data, location data, and so on. Mobile devices travel with us, and they aren't protected by the same level of physical security as a server in a data center. Mobile devices are easily misplaced or stolen, so we need to be sure to secure these devices. As we go through this video, remember that many of the settings that we will discuss can be automatically configured or required by policy using mobile device management. One of the most basic protections you can enable on a smartphone or tablet is a screen lock. A screen lock presents some kind of challenge that you have to respond to in order to unlock the device. You might enter a PIN or password, you might draw a pattern on screen, or you might use biometric data like a fingerprint or even your face to unlock the device. No protection is perfect, so we should use defense in depth to protect the data on your mobile devices. What if someone steals the device and reboots it or takes it apart to get at the storage directly? To help protect against this, enable storage encryption on your mobile devices. On some devices, this is done by default, but if it isn't, you should enable that feature. We've talked a little bit about protecting your device from an outside attacker, but what about protecting the data on your device from an app that's installed on your device? End users should be able to control which apps on their mobile device have access to what data. Let's look at how you can see which apps are using or have access to use specific types of private data on your device. Mobile operating systems have defined permissions that control which app has access to which systems or data. Each OS has a list of permissions, and the app requests access to the specific permissions that it needs. Mobile apps will request permission either when they are first installed or when they first try to use the permission. At times, an end user might deny an app access to a permission that it needs, making that app unable to function properly. It might be up to you to help them troubleshoot app permissions. For example, one permission controls access to information about the device's location. A mobile device can use its GPS, cellular networking, and Wi-Fi networking to determine the location of the device. Determining the device's location uses a lot of battery power and is also very sensitive from a privacy point of view. Still, knowing the location of a device is critical for some apps. For example, obviously the app that you use for mapping and navigation needs to know where the device is. You can turn a mobile device's location services on and off. You can also use the app permission settings on your device to control which apps have access to location services when they are on. Let's take a look. Here's how to do it in Android. Here's a list of all the permissions that apps can request, and if I select one, I can see and control which apps have access to my device's location. I can do the same thing in iOS and with other permissions. For example, let's check which apps have access to record sounds through the device's microphone. So here I have an iPhone. From the privacy setting, I can view all of the different categories of private data and control which apps have access to which data. If I select one, I can see and control which apps have access to my device's microphone. Android and iOS use different names for the type of permissions and private data that they can grant to apps, but the basics are the same.